What's going on, guys? Hello. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. Should be live at YouTube. Always a little bit funky when I hit live at YouTube. Doesn't feel like it's actually on. But I think we're live. How you going? Mario, you dope. Good to see you. Beanie 69. How you going? You good? Patty G. What's good, Pat? Good to see you, bro. TCG Tyson sending some love from the East Coast. Thanks, bro. How you going, dude? You're so far away. East Coast is so far. It is very far. Cut that out, Chasm Skulker. How you going, Anira? Apples, what's cooking? Marcus V, good to see you, g'day. FX Sport, g'day, how you going? Kenny, the Expendable, greetings from Germany. Good to see ya. Ankit, good to see you again. Thanks for coming down. Mr. Mime is French, didn't know that. How you going? Matt V2, he's on time. Thanks for doing a Tuesday morning. I did see your message in the Discord when I woke up. Part of why I hit go live. Hang on, Matt. Why did you want to stream so badly this morning? He's like, please, 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 please. Mighty Rachel, good afternoon. Hang on. Good to see me, Rachel. Rem, what's cooking, brother? Nailed the name this time. I did my research. I felt so bad. Undead Assassin, what's cooking, brother? Actually on time? You me, bro. It's rude to be late. I gotta stop being late. It's rude. And that's it. That's my motivation. That's my drive. Diamond Hands. Good to see you, bro. PJ702. We back. We're cooking, bro. This is a tune. I actually highly rate this. I quite enjoy this tune. This is a pleasurable song to listen to. You are sourcing a case of Tag Team GX All-Stars. Why? What is possessing you to do that, dude? That's in the, it's over. You missed the, I mean, if you've got like a silly amount of money, but that's in the, let it go. Find something else to buy. I had someone message me yesterday, actually. And you're going to have to excuse me. I'm being super rude. I'm looking at my phone. But that's only because I am posting to Instagram. Let me cook, guys. Let me cook. LMC. Let me cook. Is what I mean by that. The Big No. What's cooking? Finally caught the live here on the East Coast. I would figure that it's the easiest to tune into the streams if you're on the East Coast because of the time zone. Like, this is a pretty good time zone for Americans, right? Fuck, this is a bop. This song is a bop. I am talking about you, head Pokemon. You know, what's your favorite emoji to use? I think mine is the smiling sad face. The smiling happy face. The smile but they're crying. That has got to be my most used. Well, chat's popping off. What's cooking on the chat? Holy crap. Okay, good. We're cooking. We're cooking. We're cooking. What the... Okay, what's going on? There's a lot of... I've missed a lot of messages. I know I missed the train, but I'd love a case to open. I'm absolutely mad. Did you never open it? What's going on, Robbie M? Pete Belinsky, just waking up in Perth. We got an Aussie in the chat. Can all the Aussies in the chat say hello, please? Can I get... Stop it, Robbie M. It's not funny. Yours is the LMA. Okay, is yours the LMAO emoji? Nah, mine's the smiling, the crying smile. Leroy, what's cooking, bro? We got at least 4 Australians in the chat. We got 5. Is Trainer G actually Aussie? There's a lot of Aussies in the chat. Time to talk about gambling? Maybe, I don't know. I don't think this, no, this isn't gambling. No, we're not talking about gambling today. That implies that we talk about it regularly. No, I'm not talking about gambling, period. What are we talking about today? Today we're talking about prices. It's a prices chat. I got asked during the week a couple of questions about the trend, the trend of Japanese Pokemon card prices, especially coming into the end of the year where everything feels like it's completely dead. So I figured probably the best way to address that was to just do a stream, doing a chatting stream. So we do these a couple of times. We do these like once every 2 months, I feel. Don't like really overdo them. I had a look. The last time I did one was probably like the start of September. Maybe I did one in between that. So that's like fine. What do you think Cyber Judge and Wild Force will be worth buying? You mean Ancient Raw and Future Flash? Wait, Cyber Judge and Wild Force are the next ones. This market is terrible. My investments didn't work. It's a bit like that if you bought around June. Remember when EV Heroes was super cheap this time a few years ago? Casey, I'm glad you're in the chat. He's cooking. End of the year slump happens every year. It's great. Abandoned boxes embrace Oripa. I'm convinced Oripa are like, they're just a scam. I'm convinced they're exclusively a scam. They're not real. So I have this thing, right? Okay, when you die, what do you want to, what do you want to, where do you want to be? Like when you die, where do you want to, what do you want? Like where do you want to go? What do you want to see? What do you want the afterlife to be? That's the question. When you die, what do you want the afterlife to be? But like, what is your heaven? What is your idea of heaven? Like what happens? What are you doing? You just want to do your life again? How do we get to this? I'm cooking, trust me. You'll see in a second. Someone just said hose. Is heaven textured? Yes, there is a heaven texture pack. It's fine. It's not the back rooms, bro. I want to be reborn into a body that's, I'm in the body of an old man and I'm 22. What? I didn't know you were that young. That's crazy. In heaven, you have 100 Alola Friends cards. There's a hell texture pack. I don't know, man. I know there's a heaven texture pack. Heaven is eternal sleep. Surrounded by cats and animals. That is a good answer. Heaven is CGC 9.5. I had the wife message you on Insta about the spider pics. Did you really? She hates them. I've got a really good idea for the next one. I just need to find another spider in the house. I want to be reborn as Shroomish 63106 from X. What? Okay, here's my idea of heaven, right? My idea of heaven is the afterlife. So I'm still like moving around. But basically, I'm in like space. And there's like, did you guys ever play Xenoblade Chronicles? So Xenoblade Chronicles 1 spoilers. At the end of Xenoblade Chronicles, it's like a crazy plot twist, right? But they're in this room looking at like monitors. This is Xenoblade Chronicles spoilers because they are like, it's Xenoblade Chronicles spoilers incoming in the next 5 to 10 seconds. Okay. So they're like looking at monitors because it's like the whole world was created, right? My idea of heaven is I'm in that room, but I can like watch, okay, you're gonna think I'm super weird, right? But let me cook. You can like watch every event, any moment in history, every single thing, right? From anywhere. It's like God mode and you can just see everything because there's so many like unanswered questions in the world, right? There's so many mysteries. Yeah. Like there's that guy that found that cave in America. And then like a week later, he disappeared. He was gone. Right. Where did he go? What was the cave? You know, the cave that's like shaped like an M? Yeah. It's like intergalactic cable. Yeah. There's like that cave that's like shaped like the letter M. He found it and then he like disappeared. What was in the cave? Who shot JFK and like how that happened? Like all these crazy things that happen through time where there's like unsolved mysteries. I can just like see, I can go and be like, that's what happened. So with that power, I could go and have a look at like every Oripa ever made. And I could legitimately see whether they were rigged or not conclusively, because otherwise there's no way to know. That's it. I can see literally every single thing. And I could just go and look at how they made Oripa. I could go and look at how they made mystery packs. I could go and look at everything. And I'd be like, finally, I know. And I could just do that for every single moment in history. So then I know, like, what heaven was. Like, I would know whether Oripa was scams or not. We know they are rigged. We don't have to ascend to know that. But we don't know. That's the thing.
Can you use that power to look for Kmin Dad?
Yes, I can see where Kmin's dad went. Like, all these crazy things like that. Pussyo, My Little Pickle, Kombucha. I don't want to rule the world. I just want to see whether they were scams or not. Is it on my mind that much? It is on my mind a little bit. Wongman, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the prime. Thank you for the prime. Thank you for becoming a primer. You absolute legend, Wongman. Would you just look or would you interfere? I wouldn't have the power to interfere and I don't want to. I just want to like know. You know what I mean? I just want to know what happened. I'll just continue trusting no one. I mean, so will I. We have to just unfortunately continue our life that way. But at least I know. You know what I'm saying? And then I could go like all those like, oh, there was an alien sighting. Was there? Or were they just capping? I could go and look. It would just pique my curiosity.
What's the point of knowing but not being able to do anything?
I'm at peace. Like I will finally be at peace. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice because I'd be at peace. That's literally it. Blendy did not rig the EV Heroes giveaway. Finally bought Reshizard GXL in the 10 last night to go with the Pigazek. How much did you pay, Matt V2? You can look back at any point in history. You can go forward, you can go back, you can go anywhere. Literally any point.
Would you look at the Big Bang?
I would look at the Big Bang. I would look at everything. I would go look at, see what was happening during, were pyramids, did aliens make the pyramids? I would know. I would then know. I would be at full peace. Today's stream was spurred primarily by a question I got yesterday from Head Pokemon. He messaged me and he said, would I buy a booster box of EV Heroes for $360 US if I didn't have one? And my answer was no, because I think there's better things I can buy with $360 US right now than an EV Heroes booster box. I like to go from like $50 US in to $500 US gain rather than 360 USD to 500 USD. I'd rather go 10 times than like 2 times or barely 2 times, right? But it kind of got me thinking about opportunities out there if you're like a collector and a pseudo investor, right? I know sometimes people get upset about this topic on the channel. What's up, Pixel Wolfie? Good to see you. Thanks for coming down. When I start talking about like the investing side of collecting, but I made it pretty clear how I feel about that. I feel like inherently most collectors are investing. And if you're not investing to further your collection, you're doing it a little bit wrong. I think you can collect more if you collect with this approach. So you can like still enjoy what you collect. but you also just like make it easier on your wallet. This isn't a stream. Now, this isn't a stream to pump or influence the market. It's going to be the total opposite of that. Because I'm not going to tell you what to buy today. We're just going to look at what's going on. Because I have been asked a lot over the last 2 weeks of streaming. I've been streaming a lot more. Fun. I like streaming. I like chatting. I've been asked a lot about just random Pokemon card, Japanese Pokemon card questions over the last couple of weeks. I figured we just actually have a look at what is going on. When you look at the graph, it's pretty interesting. I think it's interesting anyway. And I agree with Josh Work. I don't think I have that influence either. So let's leave those accusations at the door, right? I'm not pumping. What's going on, Datey? Good to see ya. Collecting with the dual purpose of making money is why common cards from base set sold for $1,7904938,404. This is the Yokohama, Japan Pikachu mug. So I got this from Worlds. Good pickup. It's my mug. I'll give you $365 for the mug. I wouldn't sell the mug. I love this mug. All right, let me get set up. I mean, I am technically set up. Let's try and work this out, all right? Because there's a bit going on. All right. So hello J Boss, how are you doing? I'm good, Nakuda. How are you? Can you say something about trainer cards so they become dirt cheap? I'm gonna try, Chris. I'm gonna anti-pump today. I'm gonna try to anyway. All right, can we all see this? We can see this graph, yeah? So this is a graph from the website Pokekun-chart. This is from their Twitter, right? We're looking at the graph. We're seeing the graph. Look at this graph, chat. What do you see when you see this graph, chat? Do you see what I see? I'm very good, Datey. Thank you for asking. How you going? Okay, so this is a graph this is an index graph of the Japanese Pokemon card market. The average price, this thing here, this red line, Heiki Kakaku is the average price of Pokemon cards over the last year, 2023, 1st of January, all the way to the 12th month of the year, December. The gray bars are trade volume. It's like the number of sales, right? Toriki Kensu, right? What can you see when you look at this graph? You can see that in the middle of the year, June, things were super bonkers. By the way, I'm not gonna do. Okay, so years ago, when I was like getting into stocks and stuff, I would like try to be like, oh, I can read the graphs. I know what's going on. I'm not going to do any of that. We're not going to talk about like dead cat bounce and like head and shoulders and stuff. No, I'm not really going to talk about that. We're going to just talk about the status and whether I think now is a good time to buy or not. We're just looking and chatting, right? So a couple of things to note here. Right about this point, March, right? March of this year was probably like a month after Scarlet and Violet base came out in Japan. And then I think also around about that time was when we got our first sniff of Iono, the card, which is kind of like what sustained this leap here from Jan to March, right? And then from March to May, it kind of like leveled out a little bit. And then from May to June, things went crazy. I saw somebody in the chat say 151 set the market on fire in June. And I don't really know whether I agree with that or not. Like, I don't I don't feel like... Alright, Ant, that's enough. That's gonna get you a timeout. That's super weird, dude. That's extremely weird. Weird as bros. Josh, you get a warning. Can we just keep it? Can we not make it weird, please? Can I blow the image up? Yes, I can. How's that? Yeah? I saw somebody in the chat say 151 set the market on fire in June. That was from Ral. And I don't know whether I necessarily agree with that because... Okay, lots of older collectors came back for 151. Yeah, okay, fair. But I don't think that was happening with Japanese Pokemon cards. I feel like Japanese Pokemon cards were already at their peak in popularity at about this time. Like, this is... Between March and May was where things were like absolute craziest. If anything, maybe people saw opportunity here. But the 151 card prices never were really that high to begin with. When did I become so prude? I just think there's something kind of weird, like when you go into... Don't call me prude because I thought a comment about sniffing Iono's panties was kind of weird. And completely like... just unrelated to what we're talking about right now. Don't call me a prude about that. It's just like, you know... Okay, you know there's like jokes and then there's just like jokes that aren't funny? That fell into the it's just not even funny. Like it's not even funny category. 151 came out June, July, right? I think if anything, like I honestly think peak in popularity, like there were the most eyes on Japanese Pokemon cards around about March, May. But the prices of the 151 single cards themselves were never like extraordinarily high, especially when you compare them to cards that were coming out Feb, March, April period, like Iono, like Miriam. Things absolutely peaked around about end of June, dropped off July, had this little final pump here, this like last little attempt, and then slowly dropped off through to September. Well, I don't know just what happened to my stutter there. This was where I sold, right? I sold in the middle of August because I was in Japan.
Interest rates spiked, so less people buying non-necessities. And the US came so close to default on the debt. Plus World War III was a big possibility, and the yen crashed, so people started selling.
That's it. That's the stream, guys. Thanks for watching. Now you know. You heard it there first. That's all she wrote. Good night, chat. I'll see you in the next one. This is a part of it, maybe part of it. It could be, it's partial reason. I wouldn't say it's the entire reason. That brings us to here. Okay, between September and December, we've just continued to see this descent, and this is despite Shiny Treasure EX dropping, which is supposed to like save the world and cure humanity of its ails. So Pokecard Chart is a really cool site because it shows you the prices of literally everything. And it doesn't just cover card stores, which is a lot of time what we're talking about. When we're looking at like price lists, buy lists and stuff, we're looking at the lists that stores are throwing out. What stores are telling us are the prices that they're willing to buy at, and the prices that they're selling at. But it's really difficult to measure sales volume for stores. And some Pokemon card stores have a history of being super sus. I would say Card Rush can be like extremely sus sometimes, especially when it comes to volume. They will have so many cards and They'll have like a lot of stock for a particular card. Then within 24 hours, no stock, or like one card
These
left.
graphs show how paper hands are nurtured and hypebeast are.
A little bit like that, dude. Spikes near end of financial year and crashes towards December. Because last year we didn't see a particular like spike or like surge in prices. What was happening in December of last year didn't really feel so sudden. I think maybe it just feels more harsh this year because of how high things were in the middle of the year. Slavish, love those shipment vids where you compare what you paid versus today's price. Will you make another form of that opening the other day? I have a lot of mail coming. I just recently shipped back a lot of single card mail that I've just let accumulate in Japan. But I don't think I'm going to do price comparisons because what I've bought doesn't really suit that. What's going on, Cassie? How you going? This year's movements are bigger, but do we see? Oh, you already answered that. Economy went to Shiza and luxury goods like trading cards are no longer a priority. Isn't that pretty much it? That's definitely a big part of it. But you're still seeing people buy a lot of boxes at the moment. It's just that the price of singles have felt like they've fallen out of their ass. Like, are you, as a collector, are you honestly refraining from buying cards right now? Yeah, the economy argument's kind of weird because the economy has been in the bin all year. It's been pretty bad all year, at least here in Australia. The cost of living went up, interest rates went up. That surge was happening even when things had already kind of like gotten very grim for the average person. Did I really clog Rev's toilet? I did. That was a very embarrassing moment in my life. Cost of living went up. When was that ever an issue in the past 2 decades? Yeah. I'm not buying that argument. I'm not buying that being a major influence. Anyway, Pokécard chart. Pokécard-chart is a great website to reference. I get asked a lot, what's the best way to kind of track the price of Japanese Pokemon cards or get an idea for what the price should be? If you head to this website and you search the name of the card in Japanese, which you can easily do with Bulbapedia, you can just type the character's name or the Pokemon's name and then you can just copy and paste it in here, right? You'll easily be able to find the card you're looking for and then get a feel for the prices of it. So to kick off the stream today, I do want to talk about probably some of the more popular cards from the year, right? Not the Sylveon from Concept Pack 3. I kind of want to start it off talking about the card that kicked all this off, at least for this year, for 2023, that sent people kind of crazy, which was Miriam, the special art rare. So when this card got revealed, this made a lot of long-time Japanese card collectors kind of nervous. It was a variant of a full art trainer. So when a regular set released, the full art supporter, you know, if there were a female character, the full art supporter was just always a chase card. But with cards like this, you now had essentially 2 chase cards. And when we saw this being a special art rare, borrowing from the concept that V-Star Universe introduced, everyone was just like, oh, this is a new chase card now. So the regular full art supporter isn't the hotness anymore. It's now the special art full art supporter. Miriam's ability in the game at the time was pretty good because Ordinary Rod had rotated out. So there was no way to put Pokemon from your discard into your deck efficiently. Miriam solved that problem and made Gardevoir a decent deck because of it. But being a supporter, it being the supporter you had to play for that turn was kind of grim. But the effect was pretty good. So it also being playable helped it have a very good starting price. And its starting price was pretty crazy. So you look at the graph, it spans back to the start of the year, which was when these sets came out. And it debuted with a ridiculous price. Within, what, 2-3 weeks of release, it was at about 100,000 yen. It's about 1,000 Australian dollars. And what's that for those that love converting USD and yen on the spot? Is about half? What, about 500, 600 USD? Casey says, I still kind of want this card, but it's too much money. And I want to talk about that in a little bit, because I get asked about Dream League a lot. I got asked something about Twitter from Atrocious Jake, and someone in the stream a couple of weeks ago was talking about now being a good time to buy Dream League cards. What is too much money for a Pokemon card? What's too much money? Like, where do you draw the line? So this peaked at 675 USD. $5. Interstellar, you joke. I think you joke anyway, but I'm a staunch believer that anything Japanese is like buying gold. Generally. I will die on that hill. When it comes to Pokemon cards, if you're buying purely to invest, I do honestly think you're better off buying Japanese than English. How's my Tuesday going, Emperor? Pretty good, man. How's yours going? Over 300 is probably too much. Rather have other cards for that price. Remember that the direction of investment markets is ultimately determined by people with a lot of money, not the average person. It's a pretty good call. What about the Chinese version? I can't jump into the Chinese version today. I don't think I could do it justice. It's just not my area of expertise. It's not my area of knowledge. I don't want to act like I'm an expert when it comes to Japanese Pokemon cards either. I think it depends on how much you actually have to spend at the current time. Like, if I was only going to buy one Pokemon card for the month and I wanted to finish this set, I feel like now could be an okay time to buy this card. I'm on the fence about it. I've been on the fence about it. A modern chase card should not be over 300, period. You gotta, that thought process has to, you gotta leave that behind. The world has changed. Why shouldn't it? Because you're just saying it shouldn't? Like, it's just where it is. Whether it should or it shouldn't is irrelevant. It's just where it is. What's going on, Opossum? We pumping again? Yeah, we're pumping again, dude. If you look at any card from this year, it's going to follow this same trend. Kind of nothing at the start of the year. Huge spike up in June. Literally everything went up. I mean, that's why this is the average. That's why it's the index, right? Because it's the average of all cards. But it literally everything went up. Whether it should have or shouldn't have. Define should or shouldn't have. Miriam did the same thing-ish. It actually didn't. It just continued to drop. It peaked at the start. So Miriam's probably a bad example. Now it looks stupid. Miriam's probably a poor example because it had its pump right when it released. And then it did nothing but descend. It tried to hold on. It was holding on through this period at this stupid price. But when everything else started dropping, it dropped too. 350 is the absolute ceiling for my absolute top chase card. I don't like to spend more than 100 for alts and stuff. Yeah, pump on release is standard. So the pump on release, I mean, this was kind of unexpected though. I think a lot of us, I remember at the time, and this is kind of like why I like making videos like this in streams, because it can get really difficult to track what happened. So I think like when you go back and you're like, what was happening around about March? Well, if there's no one making videos about it, it's difficult to discern what was going on. So this is just like one side of it. So if you're watching this in like 5-10 years time, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for watching. I think we can kind of all agree that none of us really expected this, because it went from the anticipated price of like 40,000 yen on release to double that, 100,000 yen. And then a lot of people were like, you're so stupid, JLUV, because you said it was going to go down. It just went up. Yeah, well, it went up and then it went down. So who's laughing now? Laughers? Who's laughing now? We'll get to Dendro in a second. We'll get to Dendro. So literally everything follows this trajectory. Like it peaks and then it drops, right? Iono is the next card. This one's kind of funny though. Because when Violet came out, that's where Miriam was from, that box. Miriam was born in Violet. Iono was born in Clay Burst. They tried the same thing. Same thing kind of happened in Japan, right? Started with a ridiculous launch price, peaked 200,000, and then it kind of just held until it slowly fell off the monkey bars, right? Don't worry, Pat. Rubber's just joking. Over time, though, it's dropped. Not as harshly as the other cards, because I think just because it's so playable. Iono is one of the most powerful supporters in the game right now. So many decks running Iono. Someone actually played the English version of this. I think I was saying that last week, and I was just like, damn, bro. Am I talking about the Cabal? No, I'm not talking about the Cabal. It is a sick card. I get yelled at when I say it's really cool. But I get told off when I say it's cool. I do not remember the guy who recorded himself buying it for 300,000 yen. That's crazy. I never saw that video, Koala. What's going on, Blendy? Good to see you, bro. Iono is at about half her peak, which was what, 200,000, and people were actually buying it at that. That's a crazy thing, and this is why these graphs are good. People were buying. There's genuine sales volume at this point. 369 recorded sales, right? So Pokecard Chart grabs its sales data from what they call flea market, which is basically just like Mercari, third-party auction sites. It shows this graph here, Sneaker Dunk and Card Rush, which is the price that they're offering, but it's never the actual price. And then we're going to get to this in a second, right? So a lot of branching out on this stream, right? Because I think that's BS too. Well, it is BS. I can show you why it's BS. It's why you're probably better off using sites like Pokecard Chart to get a feel for prices rather than buy lists, sell lists, and actual card store sites and what they're listing cards at. Because it's mostly BS. It's fake. It's held up. They're kind of like propping things up at the moment. They're like trying to hold it together while it continues to fall. Okay, so Dendra is the biggest example of this whole them failing with their agenda. When I say they and them, I'm talking about like flippers, basically flippers in Japan, right? That exist. People that are opening up boxes en masse and selling these cards before they officially hit the streets to try and set the market price, which is just the thing that happens, right? We went through, didn't we? We went through this arc, I think, was it like 2021 or 2022? I think it was like, this is all, it's not alleged, but it's just conjecture, right? There was this period, I think I covered this in the video where I was having a long chat with Primal Guardian, when Hareruya 2, which is like one of the biggest card stores, and when I say biggest, I mean just like size-wise, it's not the most popular. When Hareruya 2 was opening up in Akihabara, there was like mass buyouts of every single, like any card, just anything. Special art, full art trainer, secret rare. It didn't even have to be like a sought after card. It's just like everything got sucked up into a vacuum so that Hareruya could list it in their store. And then because they controlled volume, because they just bought so much, they were able to establish the new prices. So that's a thing that kind of happened in 2021. And still kind of happens now. Triplet Beat was awesome. What do you mean? It's a cool set. Not a bad set at all. It's just what happened with this card. Because Dendra, not the most popular trainer. Not many people played Scarlet Violet at this point. So nobody had... And I mean, Dendra in the game isn't even a gym leader. She's a teacher that just lives in the school that you have the option of talking to, and I think you do a gym test with her when you go to fight Tulip. You barely see them. So there was no affinity with the character. The card wasn't very playable. The artwork was controversial. I know a lot of people didn't like this card. Why didn't they like it? Like, why didn't you like, if you didn't like this card at the time, why didn't you like it? I think a lot of people said that the pose was weird. What? It just wasn't loved instantly. It's fine. It's fine. It's not the greatest. It's fine. Yeah, Joshua, I'm with you. It's fine. They tried the same thing. It failed miserably. Dendra is probably one of the least popular special art rare cards released this year. For some unknown reason, there was actual volume at 97,000 yen, so nearly 1,000 Australian dollars. This was launch week, which is just ridiculous. But everyone was just huffing everything goes up Kool-Aid at that point. And then over time, it just dropped, and it dropped. Actually, this dropped the fastest of any. This is from March to April. So within a month, it had just halved off that peak. What's going on, Segredos? Good to see you, dude. Which brings us to December. So it's sub 30,000. There's a damaged one that sold. Damaged ones are selling for like what, 15, 17,000? Small amount of trade volume there. 20,000 for a mint condition version of the card. Still pretty high, but as far as like chase cards go, actually a solid price. 20,000 yen for a chase card is decent. And I say that because it's just the new standard. Back when Single Strike Master and Rapid Strike Master came out, so that was like what, 2021, and we first got special arts again. That's about how much a chase special art was, which at the time felt insane. Nobody would even contemplate spending that. But now it's like good. This is like decent. If you were trying to finish off Triplet B and that was the last card you needed, when you think about it, that's just the price of 4 boxes. It's actually not that bad. And we haven't even started talking about Ancient Raw and Future Flash yet. Pull in 4 box or buy second hand. That's what I'm saying. You're not buying a playset of this card. You're just buying one. You're not playing this card, period. Dendra is probably your favorite of the top chase. I think of my favorites, mine is Miriam. I'm very close to buying this card. I am not going to buy it now. I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep waiting. Oh, don't know what to click there. So that's like, and you know what's crazy and actually kind of sad is that from the first 3 or 4 sets of the year, the chase cards were all full art trainers, which is sad. Before the stream started, I was going through and just having a preliminary look at the cards that I was kind of going to talk about to kick this whole thing off. And I was like, it's actually kind of cringe that Pokemon cards don't land on, they're like actual Pokemon are just not even in the discussion here. Are you happy with the cheaper English version? Just the English version doesn't look the same. I've got the English Miriam, it's just not the same. Absolutely not the same. Doesn't look as good. Very few Pokemon, actual Pokemon, like rank highly in the price charts for this year. I mean, this is probably the best one to talk about, the Charizard. These are actually good. I'm going to talk about these, right? It's got on Primal. I think the market wants to accelerate the end price growth of the modern cards that 4 to 6 years would take, but it's totally different with so many cards around. It's possible it could drop easily. I agree. A lot of this feels like forced acceleration. You guys ever watch The Boys? It's like they inject V into the price of these cards. This is actually wild. Someone was talking about earlier, there was a bit of a discussion about Pokemon 151 instigating all this. And I was like, the single prices were never that crazy. It's honestly wild to me that while that was happening for cards and characters like Miriam, Iono, in June, when all this peaked, right? And you had this massive spike was happening. So average price of Pokemon cards. You had the best Venusaur card from the year. The best Blastoise card from the year. You had special arts of 2 of the starters. Even Zard, right? Well, it's the wrong Zard. This Zard. With the fat belly. And it never went over like 17, 18,000 yen. Which is good. This was a good thing. "2019 Pokemon Tag Team Alts weren't even the chase cards, it was the rainbows. Things changed so drastically." Yeah, it was like over the period of like 2 years, 2021, 2022, everything just, you know what? Now we like special arts. Now rainbows are in the bin. Isn't that because those starter SARs are guaranteed in the God Pack? I don't think them being in God Packs influenced the price of it and meant that they weren't as valuable. Like, Pokemon 151 is one of the most expensive booster boxes internationally. Even in Japan, I think it's at about 25,000, 30,000 yen for a sealed box. Out of print now as well. So that's... Like, I don't know if 151's coming back into print. I doubt it, but you can never say no. There's just no planned reprint. The last reprint we got was the release of made to order boxes into the wild between September and October. I feel like stores got a resupply at around about that point. And now the stock that you see being sold is just whatever remains from that wave. So even with that, that's like pretty, that's not like a secret or anything. That's like pretty public knowledge. Like you can infer that, right? It hasn't done anything to the price. Like it's just not shifting the price. I don't think anything is going to go up in this current climate. I feel like everything is just going to keep going down. We're looking at Charizard, right? Damn, that's so crazy. That is so crazy. So if you go to Card Rush, let's talk about this now, right? If you go to Card Rush, 16,800 yen. And they've got 30 in stock, right? If you go to Mercari, $201. See the difference? So like card stores are just adding another they've just added another 4,000 yen to this card. Now I know like there's an element of trust when you buy this from a card store like Card Rush. But this is bonkers. Like there are a few chase cards in this set. Erica's Invitation SAR and the Charizard EX SAR have got to be the top 2. I know that there's like Master Balls and stuff, but like that's crazy. This is a third of the price of a booster box. It doesn't even, like, why would you buy a booster box when you could just buy the card? This is my mentality, but I've usually get this investment thing wrong. I'm not good at the investment stuff. I'm genuinely bad at it. I was thinking about this today. I'm genuinely not good at this. I never like capitalize on the things I see. Like Eevee Heroes. Like why didn't I knew that set was going to pop off. Why didn't I buy cases of it? Other people bought cases of it. And then they sold them for like 4, 5, 6, 7 times what they paid for it. Why the hell didn't I do that? It seems so easy. I look at this and I'm like, why would I buy a booster box when I could just buy 3 of the of the Pokemon that everybody likes? Doesn't that make more sense? People buy boxes to sit on and for content. It's crazy though, isn't it? Is that it? Is that really it? I mean, there's not that many content creators out there. And it's not like all of us, like, I I don't think in like 5-10 years time, all those people that bought those boxes are going to become content creators. Are they just going to sell them to the content creators? Are people even going to like Pokemon card opening videos in 5-10 years time? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm not calling shots. But are you going to care? Like, if you can buy 3 Charizard, if we can all look at this right now and we can just buy the singles from this set, are we going to care if somebody opens up a booster box of 151 in 5-10 years time? Like, is anyone going to actually care? I feel like it's Jova for any box that came out in 2020 and 2021. It's a bubble, bro. Stream's over. It's a bubble. He's called it. This has got to be like a 20-year plan. Like, this is not a 5-10 year call. This is like a 20-year call. That's what made base sets so exciting to see reopen now, because it was just like
about the adrenaline spike when opening the boxes.
It was just so long ago. Like, that's the only reason why it worked for base set is because it was so long ago. I feel like, you know what? Maybe you are kind of cooking. Maybe in 20 years time, this will be a thing, but definitely not in 5 or 10. And that's because in 20 years time, when you see somebody open up a box of 151 or something, it's going to bring you back to this period, all those feelings and memories. So it's that vibe, that era, that period, 2020, 2023, that you're going to get taken back to. That's what's going to make you care. But like, when did like a box like Celestial Storm come out? Like what, like 2017 or something? Like, do you think anybody's going to care about a booster box of Celestial Storm being opened in 2037? That's a long way away. Is anyone going to actually care? Like, would you care? No. I'd care about when I think about it, I'd care.
Nostalgia and supply and demand.
I would watch somebody open Eevee Heroes in 20 years time just to be like, I hope they get owned. But I wouldn't care about Celestial Storm because it just wasn't that cool. There wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing back there. So what's the better play? Buying 3 of these or buying a booster box? What's the better play? I'd rather be the guy that has the cards and then sells it to the people that want the card. Better play, invest in SP 500. Probably. So basically, the speculation. Oh, here comes. I need to get a pair of glasses. Starting that sentence made me feel like the nerd emoji. I'm gonna stick with it anyway. All right. So basically, the speculation. Okay, so I cannot seriously say this sentence. I'm just gonna talk. Essentially, the people that are expecting, oh my god, every time I go to say this, there's like a filter. There's like a wall shuts down my brain and says, "Don't say it, bro. Shut up. You sound ridiculous right now." I can't. Every time I go to say it, it's like my brain is trying to protect me. It's like a defense mechanism.
Where are you glasses?
I can't seriously. It's like it won't come out, dude. It's almost like it's almost like the people that are anticipating box prices to go up in 20 years time are really doing us a favor because they're forcing the price of singles down in this weird way. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing for collectors. This is great. This is great, right? People doing that is good. Okay, I got there. Okay, I got there. Whew. I don't know. I'm just saying I'd buy now, but I personally am I will wait. I will wait. It's okay to buy now, but also I feel like this will get cheaper over the next 6 months too. You want to talk about V-Star Universe? We can get there. All right, some other cards, some of the graphs I had open. Lily. So like cards like this, right? So the Lily Fuller, a card that nobody cared about. Nobody likes this card. Nobody genuinely likes this card. I'm sorry. If you like this card, you are lying. This is the bug-eyed Lily. It's uncanny. It doesn't feel right. It's like a 1,000 yen card for a very long time. I think the graph goes far that back. All right, this is one of the few graphs that goes back that far. 2021. $6,000 yen. You're lying, Simon. You're lying, Emperor Pikachu. This is a card that just went up because everything else was. And because it was a female full art supporter. So it went from 6,000 yen to 140,000 yen. First of all, pull one out for everybody who bought this card at that price. Holy sh... Whoa. Imagine if you did that. Did anybody do that? There's no way. Like, did you buy this card in the last 6 months? I don't think anybody in the chat here would have bought this card in the last 6 months. There would be a lot of sellers. I think, yeah, there's probably a lot of sellers. You sold a damaged one for $400. Jesus. Hey, that's not true, Opossum. I owned 2 of these cards before. I think I pulled 2. And I absolutely did not buy any of them because I did not like the card. The IRS is watching. What's going on, Taco J? Do you know somebody who bought this card in the last 6 months? I did not own it in 2019. No, I owned it in 2020. Oh, sorry, Lily. Lily's best effort. You know somebody that bought this card recently, Taco, and do they care? I know someone who bought Iono at 1,400. Hey, and I do it again. I do it again. That was a power move. That was a... No, that wasn't... That was a power move. I had to do that. You know the guy that you sold it to. I guess that kind of counts. What's going on, Jack? From London. Very late in the evening for you. This card had a absolutely terrible come down. Horrible, right? From 140,000 yen. That's ridiculous. To now.
You said you knew the seller from the Discord. Who
40,000.
sold you the Lily. Caught in 4K.
40,000. I don't know what you're talking about, Beanie. Card stores are still trying to sell this card. And this is what I'm saying. All right. This is going to be a recurring theme. Card stores are still trying to say, hey, this card is worth the monies. 84,000 yen. 84,800 yen. That's ridiculous. If we go and look at Makari, 45,000 yen. 40,500 yen. Are they damaged? Are they off center? Looks pretty good to me. That looks like normal gloss glare along the side. So if anything, right, I hope you learned from this stream that these prices are not real. This is a fake price, right? Right now, everything is just fake. Everything is just fake right now. It's not real. Nothing is real. Makari will advertise it and never deliver.
I thought
Really?
I told you to delay the stream.
You think they wouldn't deliver? There is the potential of this that you're buying a fake though. I know that is a thing, especially with Lily cards. So there's also that element at play, right? Please look at the Japanese quotes replies to my Japanese tweet about Dream League. Lily, it's hilarious. Can you send it to me on Discord? All right, these are sold. 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 Let's look at 4, right? Let's look at 5. Probably can trust this seller. Look, they're even wearing a white glove. I think this sold. It's gonna miss the mark. It's gonna end Wolf. Are they reprinting Battle VIP? Oh, no. Thankfully, no at this stage. I think you can trust this seller. Probably can trust this seller. This was sold a day ago.
Japanese market talk equals 250 viewers BTW. That's a classic.
Can probably trust this seller. So this isn't the real price. If you are new to Japanese Pokemon cards and you go to Card Rush because you watch an old video of mine or you saw people talking about Card Rush and then you were like, well, that's the price it should be, then careful. Hey, bring fucking alarm, alert, bring, like, do not, no, you will die. Maybe not die, but like you will die inside. Would you recommend someone coming back to the hobby to collect JP cards just to do research? Yes, a lot. I think now's both like the hardest time and the easiest time to collect Japanese Pokemon cards. It's the hardest because there's so much misinformation and smoke and mirrors everywhere. And it's also really difficult to find
a birthday song for Joe?
No, it's also really difficult to find decent deals as well. Deals with a Z, right? It's really difficult to work out, like, to find value because you got stuff like this. But it's also a good time because you've got this happening, right? It's really awkward. Very, very awkward. I think it's a rough time for modern. Modern, probably very bad. Vintage, fantastic. But the issue with vintage is that it's really difficult to find those cards in good condition. So you're fighting another battle there. The funny part is that older cards in Japan, despite many condition flaws, it's almost like he took the words out of my mouth, are perfectly affordable compared to modern cards, compared to some cards being very old. It's an interesting contrast. That's a great way to put it, Barrier. It's a great time to collect if you enjoy finding gems in a violent sewer. Vintage, someone said vintage crash. I don't think vintage ever really took off. Vintage Japanese has never really taken off. Not like on this scale. Because while this was happening, this is like modern. This is the thing you gotta remember. This graph only really applies to modern. From March through to September, I was only buying vintage cards. And I did not notice this ridiculous spike. This didn't impact vintage. Only the vintage promos. Well, and the other thing you got to consider is this graph tracks modern cards because PokerCard chart tracks modern sales. Another card that went through this. This is another Lily card. So probably the most violent graph. The most violent graphs will be Lily cards. But same kind of thing here. 44 yen. That can't be real. 3,000 yen. 4,000 yen. This was the first secret rare I ever pulled from Dream League. 900 yen. That's crazy. 7,000. 7,500. This was when all alts were kind of just going up in general in 2021. And then this crazy peak, 93,000. Which drops off here. Again, drop off 16,000 for a damage, 27,000 for a new. Because waifu boys hype that. Waifu boys hype that ish up and then it crashed. Too many eyes now on JP Pokemon, you reckon? I don't know, man. I don't know, Risa. JLove ignoring me because I told him to delay the stream. I don't even know what you're saying, bro. Hey, I can't pay attention to you while I'm chatting. Why did everything peak in June? It's really hard to... I don't know. I honestly, Truxa Bay, I don't know the answer to that question. It's very weird. Why did everything peak in June? Somebody in the chat mentioned before 151 came out, so there were more interest, there was more eyes on it. I think it was something that was kind of just brewing from like the tail end of V-Star universe through to April with cards like Iono and Clayburst coming out, right? And then it was like priming through that period, and then it took off here in June. I think Worlds had a part to play in it, like a small part to play in it. I don't think it's a surprise that right after Worlds, like this is probably what this is as people were kind of like getting to Japan. I mean, I came to Japan a little bit earlier to sell right before Worlds, like the first week of August, before everyone else got there. And then there's like this huge, but I mean, it was already declining. So like Worlds not that big of an impact either. You gotta talk about Margie. I don't know how much there is to like retread about Margie though, June. In June, people started seeing sold out sets in Japan everywhere and FOMO'd every Japanese card they could get. That's a good point. Simon, you just triggered a core memory. That was definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. Basically everything, if you're trying to get sealed, everything was gone. So people were just trying to grab whatever they could. Do I think the hype went to Lorcana and One Piece? It's hard to, yeah, do I think? Okay. It definitely feels like a lot of the people that were taking advantage of the hype of Pokemon moved on to Lorcana and One Piece. Like they naturally kind of had to go somewhere. Like you can't really say that new people that are taking advantage of those TCGs just spawned. I feel like they just moved on. Because it's all about opportunity. Like if they can identify opportunity, they will just, and like it comes down to opportunity and a limitation of capital. So like if they can identify opportunity and then they only have so much capital, then they have to like allocate it to whatever they think has the most opportunity. So yeah, maybe it is One Piece and Lorcana. Like generally the first sets of any new IP or any IP are always the most popular. People are always going to sink as much as they can into it because of what happened with Pokemon and base set. Show the yen USD chart. Okay. What's he cooking there? Let me find a good one. Well, that's the yen to USG chart. What were you cooking here, Kai, I guess? What are you cooking here? Show over 5 years. What are you cooking? Have you thought about interviewing card sellers? You know what? I interviewed one recently. I'm working on the video. Yeah, Kaigas, what were you cooking, bro? What are you trying to cook here? What's going on, Ariel Davis? How you going? What were you cooking here, Kaigas? The yen going to Shiza coincides with prices of Pokemon cards exploding. Is that it? Is it that simple? The yen versus the yen crashed. Then we saw Iono. It is never just one reason. It's a factor. Yeah, it's a factor. Consider it. You know, before this stream, yesterday and this morning, I was like trying to conceptualize a plan and a path for this stream, and I just couldn't. And then I wasn't going to go live this morning because I'm like, I don't think I can do it. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't do it. I don't think I can do it. Like, what am I cooking? Am I even cooking anything? And in the end, that was the reason why I decided to just go through and stream, because the only way to like figure it out is to just talk about it together. And I didn't want to really do this is why, this is what's going on, because I just don't know. It's so berserk. Like, everything is so bananas. You do it. You end up becoming that yes, you're just Charlie from Always Sunny. You know, like, I don't need a reason to stream. I'll stream for whatever now, right? These days, I'm just going to stream for whatever if I want to go live. But I was like, how do I make this like work? I'm like, I can't. Like, I don't. It's so bizarre. All right, Acerola. Acerola's Premonition, right? This was stupid. This is from Climax. This card also went bonkers. Did the same thing Lily did. 4,000, 5,000 yen. This is a VMAX Climax card, so what? It came out like 2 years ago. No one really cared. Whatever. 2022, all of a sudden, 19,000. And then in the middle of the year, 40,000. Also suffering from a huge come down. When will the next Shiny Star V lottery start? You mean Shiny Treasure EX? Shiny Star V is long gone, brother. Umbreon. Okay, so now moving into examples of cards that are just unaffected, right? Cards that just have like, they're just like invincible. Their armor is impenetrable, right? This is like just like worldwide chase cards, right? Because I get asked a lot whether I think now is a good time to buy Dream League or not, and I'm always just like, no, and it will never be a good time because that set is invincible. There will never be a good time. There will be a slightly better time where the pill won't be as bitter to swallow, but there will never be like a good time, because a good time was like 2020, right? I heard that Umbreon is really rare. Pretty rare. So Umbreon is still ridiculously expensive. 230,000 yen. So this is like 2,500 Australian dollars for one card. Like, if you're like, is now a good time to buy EV Heroes? I mean, yeah, if you compare it to like the last 6 months, where its previous all-time high was 300,000 for a damaged and 410,000 for a new one. Yeah, now it's better than 6 months ago, but it's definitely not better than 2 years ago. Oh my god. 30,000. This was like unfathomable. Could not handle this. Like I'm literally shitting and farting. I cannot handle this moment. When I saw this on release, I'm like, how? How can we have chase cards that are 60,000? It's just not right. I bit the bullet and I bought it 40,000 yen. Yeah, I also should have gotten rid of it in June and then bought 2. Do I think lotteries will be mainstay moving forward for the years to come? Yeah, I don't see lotteries going anywhere. I don't see lotteries going anywhere anytime soon. Somebody said this is an ugly card. This is a card that if you see it in person, you would never ever say that. You would never say that. Ever. You would just not say those words. So yes, definitely cheaper than it was at its peak this year, but still, like, this is its natural progression. I'm gonna die on that hill. Like, if you cut this bit of the graph out, if you cut out between April and July, you're basically seeing the natural progression. And like, I feel like this is the peak, and then what's going to happen if the graph like extended where my mouse is, right? Is that it's going to continue to like sort of like just lower over the next 6 to 12 months. Because and I'm going to get onto this in a minute. I don't see Pokemon cards getting any more popular for as a collector's thing over the next year, right? So over the next year, I think it's going to cool off even more. Maybe at the 30th, we'll see like another increase, and then it will probably just like level for years, and that'll be it. What about Gengar VMAX 020-019? That's a promo, right? That's the Gengar promo. What about it? I really think we have to dissect how TPC works. I think a lot of people underestimate the absolute marketing genius of TPC. It's one of the biggest factors of this whole discussion. Expand Primal Lugia. I feel like you're typing into ChatGPT. All the people looking for value instead of collecting are moving to other TCG. I have no idea what Lorcana is doing. I legit am not using ChatGPT. I am 2 AM creative right now. This is another card that like is just in the Invincible category. Rayquaza VMAX. I remember clowning on this at release when people were buying it for 80,000 yen. And this card's just Jova, right? 80,000 yen. Man, oh my god. Why I did not buy it at 30,000 yen, I will never know. I should have known better at that period. Like, honestly, I should have known better at this point. I should have known better this entire period. I should have known better this whole period here. So, like, this is probably one of my biggest mistakes of my entire life. Biggest mistake of my life. Not buying this card. Biggest mistake of my life. Like, I don't care whether you liked it or not. I don't care whether you like it or not. As a collector, this is the biggest mistake of my life. Like, what it did is so predictable. Blue Sky Stream just never got reprinted. I knew it. Like, I knew it. And now it's like, what? 300,000 yen? That's ridiculous. You just are not getting this card unless you trade for it. You're not finishing Blue Sky Stream unless you pulled it. bought it then or trade for it. Or you've got money to burn. 200 for that card was crazy, and I think it probably just comes down to the fact that like it's hard to undisputedly say this is like a universally loved card, whereas like Umbreon is like, you know that you can buy this card with confidence that it's always going to be liked. But the Rayquaza is like, it's really nice, it's cool, it's epic, right? It's epic, like actually this is epic, but it's not like Umbreon scale. So like you can't buy with the confidence being like, yeah, it's just like, it's a shoe-in, right? You look at Umbreon and you're just like, this is a 10 out of 10. Like, this is a flawless, cannot lose. Like, you will not lose, right? Like, it could be Nuclear Armageddon. This would be, like, still sought after as, like, a precious commodity. Like, you just know. Imagine you're in, like a Fallout-esque shelter. There's, like, 100 of you, and then there's, like, one guy with this card. That guy is done for. Like, he is gone, and this is getting stolen out of his hand. You're going to want this no matter what is going on in the world. And the pop is way lower on the Ray. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even though all metrics, numbers, everything suggests that this is the better investment, it just doesn't, it's not a 10 out of 10 on like it's not vibing. Like, there's no vibe factor. Like, there's no strong vibe. This is like an undisputable, invincible vibe. Why did I sell this card? I never bought it, which is the ridiculous thing. I'm so stupid. So cards like Ray just fall into like the Invincible. I could trade my Umbreon for it. True. I could probably trade like 2 or 3 special arts and get it. But do I want to do that? I don't know. Maybe. I funded a trip to Japan selling a PSA 10 Ray. That is epic. This is just me looking at a card that I want to get for my collection. I was like, while I was here, I'm like, is now a good time? It's better time. When this card, this is from Concept Pack 3. And I don't know if do I really want to talk about this? Do I want to go into this now? Look, I'll be honest, there are some things that like I don't talk about on the channel or the stream. Because if I'm being like kind of selfish, because like I don't want to like undo myself. But I guess I've like kind of already opened up that can of worms anyway. So like, I'm looking at this card because it's the last chase card or the second last chase card I'm missing from Concept Pack 3. And I think this is Pokekun, by the way, right? So I think, you know what? Fuck, we'll do it live, right? I think Pokekun is like the weirdest set ever. A booster box of Pokekun is like stupid expensive. Okay, so like if I just search this up, give me a second. I'm just trying to like find a good example. All right, cool. All right, so like a booster box of this is just a insane price. Insane. Like this is just absolutely like ridiculous. This is like one booster box, 1 million yen. What is that even? Did I even say that? Is that a real word I just said? It's 1 million yen for a booster box of Pokekun. What? That's so much money for a sealed box. Why? Like the cumulative price of the cards inside of Pokekun are not worth, like it's not equivalent to the price of a booster box. Why is the sealed box so stupid expensive? Don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. I can't give you the reason. All I can say is like it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not very rational. But if you go and look at one of like the chase cards from the set, it's 44,000 yen. Like it's so low compared to, this is all relative, right? So like I don't want to get like caught up in like, oh my god, JLUV's so out of touch because he says that like 10,000 yen isn't a lot of money and 500 yen or 500 USD isn't a lot of money, and that like 10,000 USD isn't a lot of money. No, that is a lot of money. That's a crazy amount of money, right? Unfathomable. But as like a avid collector and like someone who has collector brain and I just want to finish my collection, that is a price that I would pay, right? I know it's a lot. These are big numbers. I'm well aware of it. But I just think it's so crazy that like a raw version, like this could be damaged, right? This very well could be damaged, slightly damaged, right? It looked decent enough, right? It looks decent enough. It's so wild to me that that is 44,000 yen, but the sealed box price of Pokekun is floating about where to go. You know, 1 million yen. So you're getting we're getting a lot of this at the moment. Like with, I know Mr. Darth Bean made a comment. He said, no, don't pump mid-modern, right? So like the reason why I was like on the fence about talking about this, because if I talk about it, then there's more eyes on it. But I think this is it's fine, right? I hope, right? I don't want to see Pokekun single prices go crazy. I don't think it will, because I think there's so much negative sentiment on the market right now. But it is it's just absurd to me. It's like I just think now if you wanted to finish Pokekun, probably a good time, right? I think that would be just like a smart thing to do. If you're like collector / investor, why wouldn't you? Like, I don't need to talk about this to pump my master set of Pokekun, because I think it's going to do it whether I talk about it or not. Nobody back then thought, let's stock and store CB3 sets, different period, different collectors, different purposes, and now it's this. Why is anybody buying a 1 million yen box of Pokekun though? Now 200 more people need that card. You're not buying sealed to open it, you're buying to own it sealed. That's true. Let's look at its graph relative to what happened this year. So it, like everything, so like once, basically everything past June, this is like point of no return, right? My take, all right, this is my like, I'm just going to make a take, is that I don't see, and I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, I don't see the price of cards, Japanese Pokemon cards in general, going below whatever they were at the end of 2022 / start of 2023. Like, I feel like once all this levels out, it's going to just bottom out around about this price. I don't think it's going to go any lower than here. We should just look at the graph, right? So I feel like the lowest it can go is here, 2023 January. So like there's still a ways to go, yeah? We've still got another on average 5,000 yen to drop. I personally don't see it going any further below that mark. It might. If it does, that's good. But I just don't see it going any lower than that. Because if it did, it would be a real true, like, it's Jova moment. Like, everything would be completely Jova. Wake Run Collapse popped like 20 bucks of this set and every other. Dude ripped apart a future fortune. Yeah, but he was just living his life. He was just having a good time. I reckon if you asked him again, he'd do it exactly the same. Are we sure people aren't just selling light to moderately used cards? I mean, the graphs do show damaged versus perfect or mint. It's definitely a part of it. but it's not like, I don't think the few cheap damaged cards that slip through the cracks are the majority of the cards being sold, and that they're influencing this average that drastically. This is a chart of the average price of a Pokemon card through 2023, really just tracking modern back to like 2019. This site is pokercar-chart.com. All right, so I talked a lot about like popular cards. Now I want to talk a little bit about unpopular cards, or like cards that kind of just like got on the ride at the same time. What's going on, Mitch? Yeah, you going, bro? Okay. This is a lot of modern. I had him open before. I reckon if we scroll down far enough, we'll find him. I'll be able to cherry pick some. Yeah, okay, here we are. How low do you want singles to go? Sets get bigger and TPC plays nicely on it. The sole existence of SAR support is something we didn't really have 6 years ago. How low do I want them to go? Well, how low do I don't know. What I would like to see them get back to this point. Then I feel like you could collect pretty easily. I guess we didn't talk at all about modern. Sorry, I'm getting kind of like sidetracked now. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? I want to show examples of cards that kind of just like got on the roller coaster, but were never really that cool. They probably show it best where I think things are heading. So yeah, okay, these are some cards that I think are that kind of show, or just like they kind of like back up my reasoning as to why I think we're gonna go to like late 2022 levels, because these cards have kind of already done it, right? These are cards that nobody cares about. Going back to where it belongs. Steven is a good one. What's going on, man? How you going? I want boxes down to face or to face or a little, because I can't afford to retail, you mean? All right. So cards like this just went up because everything else went up, and then are back at like where they were. So like you look at a card like this, it goes up in this period, June, July, and then it comes back down to where it was a year or two ago, right? That's where I think literally everything is heading. Channeler, another one. Super, like nobody cared about it. It's kind of annoying that the charts don't go back for like these cards. And the reason they don't is because nobody was tracking this data, because I don't think anybody cared about the card. But it's, you know, it can't go much lower than 500 yen, really. And that's, you know, 2,300 yen. Like, it's just like whatever. Like, it goes back to what it was. So this is a card that, like, why was this going for 7,400 yen? Because everything else was. And people were just buying whatever they could. Good night, Datey. Peace out. Hope you enjoyed the stream so far. Another one. This card is propped up by Licia and the box that it comes from being so expensive. But it's literally at it's very, very close to its pre-2022 price. I think that period was interesting because Sun and Moon was pretty much done for in terms of retail availability. Yeah, this set came out, what, 2018, 2019. And 3 or 4 years on, it only really, like, for a card that was, like, impossible. Like, you were not buying a box of Charisma the Cracked Sky off the shelf. So how are you going to find the single? It was still only like 6,000 yen. Well, like I said, this card only went up because Licia went up and it forced the price of that box up. Those are all cards that demonstrate why I think we're going back to like this pre-2023 price point, because they've already done it. In a few years, people will realize Sun and Moon is good and everything in that era is going to skyrocket. I feel like that already happened, Synapse. Already happened about, what do you call it? I mean, it happened June, July, right? Shiny Charizard GX. I mean, on Xboxes, that is another card that falls into my this is insane category. The same as Pokekun. Surprised it's not on this graph here. I passed it. YouTube. Nope. Did I? Nope. Are you talking about V? You passed it again? Really? No way. Oh, I did multiple times. Sorry. This card's always had like a kind of wonky history. Again, spewing you can't see like 2019 prices, but it definitely was. We'd have to go and like dig through like old streams, and I feel like I could. Old streams, old chats, old VODs where we kind of spoke about this, old videos where I did market discussion. Definitely was below 50,000 yen in 2021. If I Possum Bud's still in the chat, he would be able to attest this. I feel like Primal Lugia could as well. A couple of the older heads, they can like back me up on that. But this was definitely around about the 10,000 tops, 10,000, 20,000 yen mark for a lot of 2019, 2021. And then went up when everything else started getting a little bit pricey, around about that EV Euros period. Hard to see this card going down in value. How much is the Cynthia from Ultra Shiny GX? That looks like it's come down a little bit. Peaked at 74,000, down to 43,000. Oh, this is pretty good. The data goes back to 2021, so it was about 11,000. What do I think of Umbreon VMAX? Should I buy it and hold? The Japanese or the English version? My answer to that question always comes down to, well, it just comes down to one. Why are you buying it? Are you buying it as an investment? That's the first question. Do I think the fall in prices has anything to do with Japan's GDP showing that consumption was extremely low in Q4? It's a factor. That's my PR answer. I can't expand beyond that without sounding stupid. For an investment. So no, so like my answer to that question, should you buy Umbreon VMAX and hold it as an investment, is I personally wouldn't, because I'd rather spend 2,300 on a bunch of different things that have the potential to go 10 times in value than one thing that has the potential to go 2 to 5 times in value, realistically. Because a lot of my collection goals now are getting cards that are like in this category of Rayquaza, where I'm like, it's not coming back. It's Jova, right? If I want to get this card here, the only way for me to get it is to buy something, speculate that it'll go up in price, and then at the right price point, trade or sell and buy it. that's how I got my Karen's Umbreon. So like, I really wanted Karen's Umbreon for a long period, but I couldn't justify spending, you know, 1,000 AU straight up on it. I couldn't justify that. So to get it, I had to sell something else that went up in value, that I speculated would go up in value. Then I'm able to get the card, and it's like nothing happened. So it took me a while to get it, but that, you know, that year's period where I didn't have it doesn't matter anymore because now I've got it. This is why I talk about investing on the channel, because I feel like the way everything's changed now, this shift that we've had, it's very difficult to get cards that you might have missed out on without doing a little bit of investing. And it's harmless. It's like, it is genuinely harmless. It is how the hobby continues to thrive. It's a symbiotic, synergistic relationship. Unfortunately, like the situation has changed, or like the climate has changed, right? And it would be great if all these cards were like dirt cheap and they didn't have like these crazy values stuck onto them, but it's just not the reality. So you kind of got to like adapt or die. And I like collecting, so I'm going to like hang around and like do what I can to stay on, or stay alive, or stay collecting. So with that brings us to modern. So we'll talk a little bit about modern now. And I've spoken a little bit about this before, but we will come back to it. So we're going to look at Card Rush now just because it's a little bit easier. But I think knowing what we know, having looked at the graphs and the charts earlier, the cards are actually a little bit cheaper than what we're seeing here. All of that, everything that's happened here, right, with this decline has meant that when a new set comes out, it's not instantly pumped, or rather it's very easy, it's very transparent. If somebody is trying to pump it early and it doesn't work. So if you go here and search this card, we can have a look at what happened the first week. How do I feel about the V-Star Universe God Pack ARs? Probably some of the rarest cards on the market right now that are kind of like overlooked. I don't know where the Pikachu from that pack is in terms of value, but that was a card that I got sooner rather than later. All right, Iron Valiant. It's like it came out, there was like an attempt was made, 6,000, 7,000 yen. An attempt was made, and it was just like, yeah, okay, it ain't gonna work. But like, the starting price was so like, it definitely, generally what's happened in the past is we have to go look at an old example. Hang on a second. Let me pull up an older card. Let me put up a relevant card. This is going to be, that's trade volume. All right, we can look at Iono, just like regular Iono. I gotta get off this like neon, whatever that soundtrack is. Gotta go. Let's go to something like a little bit older. Okay. Not as good an example. Hang on, let me call. The crazy thing is, Ariel, a lot of people came into this space in January because in June, because of June. Okay, so what generally happened this year? It was like 50% was the number. Like they tried to like 100% was the number, right? So they tried to go from again. Okay, so maybe it's not even that. 150,000 to 200,000 yen, right? Relative. Same thing was kind of attempted here. 7,000. Yeah, it is 7,000 yen to 10,000 yen, right? And it's or 9,500 yen, right? Same attempt was made, cooled off, went back to this 7,000, 6,500 yen price point. So like the initial speculative price.
What you're saying is it's all June's fault.
It's all June's fault. The initial speculative price was about 7,000, and that's where it is now. That's happening for every single special art modern card released in the last since October, right? Even for Shiny Treasure EX, they don't want you to know that. But it's even happening for that. So singles for Shiny Treasure EX are reaching a very tasty point. Are they going to get tastier? Maybe. I don't know. But because of that, now is probably like now is a great time to pick up cards. If I was getting into the space right now, starting to collect Japanese Pokemon cards, I would start with the recent sets, which is kind of like the opposite to what we've done in the past. Usually when new people come in, we recommend starting with like older sets, staying away from the newer sets because the newer sets are all being pumped. Now it's the total opposite. Now it's like I would recommend starting with these sets because they're super, super cheap. Roaring Moon, right? 14,800 yen here. So what did we say? Wait, we went to Valiant, right? What was Valiant on Makari? Yeah, giving it away. 6,000 yen. Roaring Moon. Gonna be the exact same thing. What's going on, Zeal? Hey, gone, bro. Same thing. Don't know why it's kind of trending up now. It's kind of random. No real meta shift for Moon. It's still in the same kind of spot that it's been the last, what, like 2 months? But again, 10,000 yen, got up to 18,000 in that first week, and then slowly petered off, and it's back to this 10,000 price point. Or very close to, what's that? 11,000, 10,000, 9,000. No, it hasn't really, there's been no major meta shift for Moon. I think this is maybe an anomaly. There's like 4, you know, the volume's really low. $12,000, 9,900, like it's super low. These are decent prices. You gotta remember, back in 2021, you were faced up against 30,000 yen being the price of the chase card. So for it to be 11,000 yen is pretty solid. I don't know, maybe some people are like, I don't care about these cards, so I don't want to collect now. I only want to collect the older stuff. I think you might be kicking yourself if, but no, I don't think you will. Honestly, I don't think you will. Over the next 12 months, I think you got plenty of time to buy these cards. So it's a pretty solid time. Irida SAR got an official 100% discount coupon. I'm not lying. Where? Off topic, what's your thought on Snorlax block for the meta? It's another deck. It's another deck that's thriving in this meta right now. I think it's still bamboozling people because no one's respecting it. No one's preparing for the matchup. You've asked me if I hate the deck. I don't. It's just another deck. I don't hate any deck. Except Miraidon. Turn 1 hands is cringe. Look at V-Star Universe singles charts. Ancient Raw booster boxes are up at PCJ. That's pretty crazy. That's the time to be alive for sure. I want to see if these capping or not. When are you starting a company that ships Japanese TCG bulk back to Japan? It's all just sitting in house collecting dust in other countries. It's a good business idea. Why don't you start it? It's your idea. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty solid. If you want to get Ancient Raw Future Flash, now's a good time to do it. They're on the Pokemon Center website, literally just sitting there. Pretty tasty if you ask me. But nobody cares about the sets for some reason. But the limit is 1 per person. That's fair. This is part of why I think, I mean, the prices like these cards now, Future Flash, Ancient Raw, it's part of why I think next year is going to be fine for like super chill for collecting, because we've got our first Paradox Pokemon. Nobody really cares. That video, the video that I uploaded, the last video I uploaded, why Pokemon cards stop being fun, talks about that topic of why there's no affinity yet. Why collectors haven't, like they've turned their back on Scarlet Violet. A lot of people haven't played the game. A lot of people that collect haven't played the game. That is only going to get exacerbated over the next year or two when we see more cards from the DLC, the latter parts of Scarlet Violet get released. Pokemon that nobody knows or cares about. So Pokemon that like we're kind of excited for, or people that have played the games and like the Paradox Pokemon are excited for, like Fluttermane. Like I think Fluttermane's card is going to be sick. And if you play the DLC, which I only played recently, and part of why I wanted to play it, because I know a lot of the Pokemon cards that are going to come out this next year are going to be from the DLC, like Ogerpon, those cards are going to be cool. They're going to be fun to pull or to just buy and have in your binder. We know those are going to be the chase cards, right? We know those are going to get special arts. Very likely going to get special arts, but nobody's going to care about them. And it's going to be difficult to like artificially pump the prices of them up. So because of that, that market sentiment is going to bleed out over into other sets, I think anyway. That fatigue. Time to pump V-Star Universe. I finished my master set now. Okay, cool. We can do it now. And the trainers that are going to come out next year, I don't think people are going to really care about them. Like, who are we going to get? We're going to get like Carmine. We'll get Kieran. Like Perrin. Is it Perrin? The Pokedex girl? The lady that wants you to finish the Pokedex? Like, she's a baddie. But I don't think people are going to go crazy about Perrin. Lacey, maybe. Yeah, Lacey probably. Because Japan. I haven't played, what do you call it? I have not played Inigo Disc, so please don't spoil this. Photographer girl. Alright, somebody asked me to talk about V-Star Universe prices. That's pretty cheap. 21,800 yen for the Pika. I feel like it was higher. Was it? Let's have a look. Let's just do it that way. Maybe we should pull up how I do that. Pikachu promo. Love the vids. Thank you, King. Hi, JLUV. You are the lighthouse of my Japanese collection and knowledge. I'm just a man with a voice. I'm just yapping at the moment. But I'm glad to know that I provide some level of insight. I don't have all the answers, and what I say isn't fact. It's just a perspective. Where is the Pikachu? Am I not seeing the Pikachu? Where is it? I'm blind today. Yeah, so it was another card that just peaked in June. 17,000 and then peaked, and now it's back to where it was. Isn't that interesting? It's literally back to where it was. It's like nothing happened. Now, I don't see it going lower to where it was, but it might. If it does, things will get kind of spooky. Pretty interesting. I really need the Irida SAR. When should I buy? I mean, Cassie, all signs are pointing to roughly now 13,000, 14,800. Like, it's really, really low. Close to where it was. Crazy. Even this car. Perrin is the photographer NPC, yeah, that wants you to finish off the decks. Whoa, Irida's at all-time low and getting lower. Card Rush lying. See, there it is again. He's right. Card Rush is lying. Card Rush says 14,800. This is a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, about the market being propped up by card stores. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Card Rush is as bad as Margie when it comes to this stuff. 92 in stock, and they're saying it's 14,800 yen. Don't buy it from Card Rush. You will lose money. Either buy it from Macari, use a parcel forwarding service, or buy it locally. I feel like a lot of these cards, you can buy them pretty locally. That doesn't even make any sense. I feel like you can buy them locally for solid prices from your, if you're in the US especially. That's crazy. 14,800 yen. That's an absolute raw. And they're definitely sitting on more than 1,000 copies. I know, right? Yeah, 9,000 yen, 8,300. Isn't that so funny? I don't know who used to hate on you for that, Beanie. I think you're just making stuff up. Happy birthday to Sebastian Liu. Happy birthday, brother. It's pretty cool. Good on him. Crazy. Now is a solid time for V-Star Universe prices. For as crazy as people were going on about this set, oh, they actually fell. They were a little bit higher last I looked. Like, I still don't have this card. I don't have the Cynthia. But now I can just get it and finish off my... Jeez, I'm going to finish my master set. Crazy. The Zard is so low. Interesting. Gardenia, my lord. I remember being like, damn, 50 AUD is the bottom. That's kind of rough. I wanted to get a page of this card. Now I can at 3,180. How do you decide which cards to prioritize when you have multiple on your list? Good question. I just browse and I browse and I browse until I feel like the time is right, and then I get it. I try to get it right before I think it's going to go back up. Because it's not there's no urgency. So like, if there's no urgency, I won't buy it. If I get a sense of urgency, I will buy it. Yeah, they did print a lot of V-Star Universe. I feel like V-Star Universe is going to be one of these sets that is just... people are sitting on for 20 years from now because it's a set that everyone remembers. Mewtwo V-Star costs 5 times as much in Crown Zenith? Really? This card is 5 times in English. That's crazy. Now is definitely a good time to buy. Me personally, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Like I'm going to... if I really wanted them that badly and I wanted to put in my binder, like I was like, I want it now, I want it now. I wouldn't have an issue buying cards now. Outside of like Shiny Treasure EX. That I think is going to go a little bit lower. But I feel like you can probably just wait a little bit longer. And you'll be okay. It'll just get cheaper. Will I open Ancient Raw and Future Flash then if they're up on PCJ? Probably not. What's the point? I don't see the point. I don't think it would be entertaining. I don't think I will, no. What's the point? Because they're fun? Is it fun? I don't know. Are we getting into this topic now? I have to talk about this so that I can keep a record of it over the weeks. So this is my annual look at the Shiny Treasure EX prices on Card Rush segment. Things haven't halved yet, but they're getting very close. Mew was about 20,000 on launch. Should we go and look at an old VOD? Getting close to that 10,000 yen price point. Feel like it's probably cheaper on Macari. Let's go have a look. Shiny Pikachu price has definitely cooled off, which is good. We'll go to volume. 11,900. Okay. It's going on Bobby Bergen. There you go. 12,000. 9,400. Pretty good if you ask me. For one of the very few SAR Pokemon chase cards from this set. Wild. pick it up. I reckon if you pick it up now, the most you would lose is like $20 to $30. Can you live with that? If you can, no harm in getting it now. Source, Tales from my ass. I do not know the answer. I don't know whether that is the right call or not. But if it's a call you're comfortable with, I mean, it's a call that I'm comfortable with. I personally would be okay if it got $20 or $30 cheaper. I do start getting annoyed at myself when I buy cards like what Alice's Sparkle for like $200 and then it's like half, and I'm like, damn it, I could have two now. But I only have myself to blame for that. I don't think I spent more than $150 on an Alice's Sparkle though, so. One thing that I briefly looked at before I started the stream that I do want to quickly touch on is whether cards are even selling on eBay. So I had a look at this before, looking at sold items from Shiny Treasure EX. And I got asked about this on Twitter as well, by Dr. Applesauce, funnily enough. He said, because he and I actually kind of on the same page when it comes to this whole TikTok deals thing. Whether I think the end of TikTok deals is going to impact the card market and the price of Japanese Pokemon cards. And my gut says yes, but I can't definitively say one way or the other. So it's kind of like a wait and see. It's a pretty solid point, not gonna lie. But yeah, one thing I was thinking about is, are people actually even selling cards from this set? And it looks like they kind of are, but they're so ridiculously cheap. Insane. Isn't it so funny that like the shiny, this is why I just cannot stomach opening this set. But I feel like this is, the prices are this ridiculously dirt cheap in the States because the boxes are that cheap. It literally is $2, right? It's crazy, right? On auction, I feel like it's because people are getting boxes from the TikTok deals for like 40 or 50 USD. So the cards are just like, no one is like, well, if a box is 50 USD, why would I pay more than like $2 for that card? That's where I feel like the mindset is. Paldean Friends, $6. This is crazy. Art rares, like these are supposed to be hard to pull. The Palafin is $10. I mean, if you're in the States, the Shiny Treasure EX prices are not bad. People are just trying to recoup. I feel like people are just trying to recoup whatever they can. When I see like $5, $2, I'm like, people are desperate. I think people are just trying to get what they can before it's fully Jova. Because I think they know deep down nobody's buying a Noivern EX from Shiny Treasure EX ever after this month or two when the hype fades away. $6 for the Guardy is so crazy. Even this for the Iono I thought was decent. 280 USD. Wild. Absolutely wild prices. Even a glitch Goldengo gets a sale. So crazy. But like, look at this. So the Noivern from Ultra Shiny GX is like $13. Like that's the future that you're looking at. At 2 times. Crazy. Yeah, I feel like this is only going to get, like these are only going to get cheaper when Paldean Fates comes out. That's a very good point. Solid as point. So yep, that's it. That is I guess a cursory glance, just like sifting through it. Did I really say anything of substance there? I don't feel like it. This is why the stream is so awkward. It's like, there's no definitive conclusion like you can draw from looking at this information. I'm gonna say data, you can say data. It's like very difficult to draw conclusions from this data. One, if you're gonna draw any, one you could draw. Things aren't looking very good if you're an opportunist. I think the moment's well and truly past. So we're definitely on a downtick. I don't see any reason why this would uptick in the next 12 months. I don't see Pokemon cards getting any more popular in the next 12 months at all. If anything, I think they're going to get less and less interesting for the general population. Maybe all the hype does shift to One Piece. Who knows? One Piece is going to get a big marketing push next year, especially with like the Wit remake of East Blue. Good info. I feel educated. Such a weird stream. Such a weird topic to talk about. I just don't see it getting... the question I get asked a lot is now a good time. The answer is it's a decent time. And it could be a better time if you wait another 1 to 6 months. And then you can get whatever you want. Outside of those invincible cards like Umbreon, Rayquaza. I've got my eye on vintage over the next 1 to 3 years for Japanese. If there's going to be any funny business, like it's hard to fool people twice. So like, it's going to be difficult to convince people again that modern is worth hyping and throwing money at. If anything, it's going to need to be vintage. So like that's where any potential opportunity is going to come from. Buying vintage. And then it being hyped, artificially pumped. It's a weird one. I honestly don't see us touching on this topic for another 2 to 3 months. If that. I don't think anything's going to really change drastically over the next 3 months. Like if I did this stream in 3 months time, I'm going to be basically saying exactly the same thing. I'll be like, well, it went below that line. So now we're here. Is it going to go below that? Maybe. I don't know. See you next time. If you have a goal, stick to that goal and don't shift off and let social media decide your impulsive purchases. That's the recipe for collecting success. It's true. It's true. Stay focused, brothers and sisters. Stay focused. Makes you wonder if there's going to be a dump anytime soon. I highly doubt it. I feel like the dump already happened. That was the dump. You're looking at it. An attempt was made, but the dump continued. All I heard from this stream was buy. It's the opposite of what I said. I said, keep your eye on it. Looking kind of tasty. Will you ever think of selling your entire collection to buy a big ticket item such as a grail? I think about it every day. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was looking at my Pikachu cards and I was like, maybe I should sell. But then I look at this graph and I'm like, I missed the opportunity to sell. I will have to wait for the next time. The dump is you from behind. Hey, with the fractured finger, all I can do is work legs. So get ready for the tree trunk arc, bro. Do I think PSA being in Japan is going to change anything? No, because I think perception of PSA in Japan is at all-time low. They don't care about it. You'll sometimes see PSA 10 selling for the same as raw cards. But if you sell now, then you'll get the grail for cheap. Oh, yeah, I guess, but I can wait. Only 3 more years to go, Darthby. What grail am I thinking of? Right now, I'm content. Sell cheap, buy cheap. Diamond Hands with the super chat. I'm not buying a scratchy. Those are scams. Thank you, bro. Thank you for the $10 super chat. How much would I sell my entire collection for? $400,000. That's my price. I'd sell everything for $400,000. But then I would have nothing. I don't want to live like that. Good night, Ankit. Take care. $400,000 say less. Pokeoki, is that how expensive the house you want to buy is? Basically. Pokeoki knows. He knows. The second I said that, I'm going to be like, someone in the chat's going to know. What vintage have I been buying? So many different cards. I can't even explain. Anything that I think is tasty or that I want to put in a binder and look at, I just buy it. It's literally anything. Anything pre 2014 is just getting bought if I see it at a solid price. Like the mail day vids I've got coming are insane. Anything from 96, 97 all the way through to 2014, 2015. You'll be surprised what you could find out there. You'd be surprised. Anything that looks tasty. Is Mewtwo a good buy? I don't know. I can't say. I think right now is, like I said before, I think it's both the hardest and easiest time to buy cards. It's the hardest because finding a good deal, like it's the easiest because as a collector, everything's gotten cheaper. It's the cheapest it's been all year or as close to. It's hard because finding like deals is difficult because there's too many eyes on everything and everyone's sort of like wisened up. And in this June period, right, was when everything got bought up. Like this period here is where like things just disappeared. I mean, you look at it, March and here, volume just started peaking. Also at the start of the year, there's probably a lot of V-Star Universe stuff. People were just buying whatever they could until there was nothing left. So now they've got stuff. So now they're in. Brent say, should I sell my sealed box collection now and use it to buy singles? No. Bad. That would be a backwards step, I think. I think that would be a backwards step. If there's anything I'm going to say definitively on this stream, it's that. I think that would be a backwards step. Because for some crazy reason, people just are obsessed with sealed boxes because they think in 10 to 20 years time everyone's going to go crazy and content creators are going to go crazy for it. We don't even know what content is going to look like in 20 years time. Like, we don't even know if YouTube's going to be around. This whole like people are buying it because they're anticipating content creators getting into it or like hyping it up again concept doesn't even make any sense because we don't even know what content's going to look like. It's based on an assumption that YouTube is going to be the same as it is now in 20 years. Bro, in 20 years time, we're going to be like in virtual reality. We're going to be like, I don't even know, bro. Like it's going to be crazy in 20 years time. What will we be doing? I don't think we're going to be sitting in I highly doubt that I'll be sitting in front of 2 monitors and 1 camera. We'll probably be in some like dimension. I don't even know. I'm assuming. I'm just assuming it's going to be crazy. Should I sell sealed boxes to buy sealed boxes? No, Colin.
can't wait for okJLUV stream in VR.
Yeah, I'll be in your room. I'll be in your house. I'll legitimately be in your walls in 2044. I don't think you're going to care about whether I have a Pokekun booster box if I'm in your walls. I don't even know what the Apple Vision Pro is. When DLC? Maybe Friday. Okay, next stream probably this coming Friday, so like 3 days time, and then Sunday.
Just keep the huntsman off the headset. I don't
Big
want them
TCG
jumping
stream
on me in 3D.
No, there will be huntsmans in the hologram VR streams. Say tentative Friday stream. Let's see how I go during the week because I do want to finish this video. I've got to get to work on it, but I definitely am going to stream this Sunday. What's the date? Sunday. I bet you it's like Christmas Day. Fuck, it's the 24th. Maybe we're not streaming Sunday. Maybe we're streaming on the Saturday, the 23rd. So maybe no DLC until after Christmas. Yeah, I feel like that's the call. DLC after Christmas. DLC after Christmas. I feel like I'm going to do DLC after Christmas. I got to cook the next 5 days. Yep. Oh, and then it's January. I hear another Australian stream refer to the people that will bug boxes in the future are going to be content. Great. There can't be very many. Huh? What? Will I play a party game with stream before Christmas? Unlikely. What dish am I cooking for Christmas? I've just got video. No, I mean like cooking as in like vids I want to finish. Staying at home like a chump, bro. I don't want to go anywhere. I've been too many places. I've been everywhere. I've done all my traveling. I want to just chill. I should add more 7 TV emotes. All right, done. I got you. All right, chat. I'm going to call it there. Hopefully that was semi-insightful. I just want to make it ultra clear. I had no idea what I was talking about today. We were walking through that together for the first time. Like, I feel like
okJLUV, are we getting okJLUV Christmas emote in the server?
We should. I should have done that by now, eh? I feel like I understand a little bit more, but I still don't know anything, and that's probably where you're at too. Make your own inferences from the content from today's stream. I'm not an expert, and I'm definitely not pumping anything. I don't care. If I was pumping stuff, I'd be so stinking filthy rich right now that I wouldn't be sitting here talking about graphs all day with you guys. I would have done it. I would have spent $100,000 on EV Heroes and then been a millionaire. All right, guys. Thanks for coming down. Hope you had fun today. Cuse, Cassie, Juicy Jesus, Josh Work. Thank you again. Modi, Cubic, Mo. Good night, Mo. Ram, Beanie. Peace out. We are running a giveaway in the Discord at the moment, so if you want to get in and get involved in that, jump on in. There's a channel there called Giveaway. You will see the instructions to enter that in the server. Feel free to enter. Peace out, yeah, nah, mate. Diamond Hands, thanks again. Koala, have a good one. Javascar, Sarima, Herbasher, take care. Apples, good night. ZD10, have a good one. Corn King, peace out. Undead, have a good one, brother. Murnip, take care. Case Geek, have a good one. Is that everyone? Did I get you all? Bobby Bergen, peace out. All right, that's everybody. Pokelotto, take care, brother. Thanks for coming down. Your camera is sideways?
Camera is sideways, by the way.
What we can do about it? Doesn't matter? Sideways. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just an average guy. That's what Steve said in the 3-hour interview. I feel like Steve said he was an average guy about 500 times. Matt V2, have a good one, man. Thank you. Nah, thank you. Brew in the air, have a good one, bro. Can we get a Jeff at the end? No. Good night, Kygus. Peace out, Wajun. All right, guys. See you later. Bye. See you next time.